If you're tightening a screw and it keeps spinning and it won't get tight no matter how much you turn your screwdriver, you probably have a stripped hole. You see that a lot in door hinges, door hardware, anywhere that gets not only a lot of movement and a lot of tension on the screws over the years, but also places where you install and reinstall something over and over again to the point where the wood is no longer holding the screw and it never gets tightened. Let's take a look at some solutions if this happens in wood or concrete, another area where you'll see that a lot. You're driving some screws into some wood, you might have a hinge, you might have some kind of bracket or something, you might be drilling into a wood stud behind a wall or in the trim, whatever, doesn't matter. What sometimes happens is you're turning your screw and then it keeps turning, which means the hole is stripped, which means these little threads are no longer grabbing wood. They no longer have any material to grab, so it'll just spin. There's a couple ways to fix that. So here, this is a standard hinge screw. If you're spinning, one quick option is to go with a longer screw, because the hole, it's just an example piece here, is stripped only so far. It's spinning. Quick option is to just go with a longer screw to go deeper into the hole and to grab more of the wood. There you go. It's tight because it went deeper into the hole. Now if you're putting your hinges, it's a good idea to go with a longer screw anyway. Your hinges are actually in a piece of trim, and then there's a space, and then there's the stud. So if you have at least a 3-inch, 2.5 to 3-inch screw, you'll get your hinges into the stud and it'll be stronger anyway. Another option, if the hole is so far beyond repair and it's rotten, it's been years and years of people putting in the longer screws, longer and longer, until it just wears out the wood. You can go with one of these metal anchors. It's called an easy anchor, and you got to go with the metal one. If your hole, the screw hole looks like that, you can put it in with a screwdriver. It grabs onto wood, and then you have a hole that you can then use the screw in. You might need a washer depending on whatever you're putting on it. Another option, if you have a smaller screw and the screw keeps spinning, then you can go with a bigger screw, a thicker screw. The larger one will reach out and grab more of the wood. Jam a toothpick down in that hole, snap it off. What you can do is fill the hole with toothpicks. Alright, so you have a couple of toothpicks down there. And now what you're doing is you're giving more material for that screw to grab onto. Yep, tight. Doesn't need glue or anything, just jam the toothpicks down in there. Another option, if you don't have something like this, you may have ordinary drywall anchors. These little expansion anchors will work in the wood by expanding when the screw is driven in them. The two parts will expand and press up against that, similar to how a masonry anchor works. You may have something like this. For this one, you can just put you might have to drive it in with a hammer, tap it in. Again, a little tighter. Not gonna be as strong as driving into the wood, but if you had to, works in a pinch. For stripped holes in concrete, the first option that I would recommend doing is going up a size larger in the screw. This is a 3/16 screw. This one here is a 1/4 inch, which requires a 3/16 hole. This one requires a 5/32 hole, but if this is stripped and this keeps spinning, and if it's something kind of soft like a hollow block, then you can just upgrade the screw. Same thing if there's a pan head, a hex head. This is the smaller one. If this is stripped, then just go up a size bigger. Next option could be to, if you have them, use anchors, plastic anchors. This requires a 3/16 hole. So if your screw is spinning and keeps spinning, you can just pull it out, put in a plastic anchor, and that'll expand. Different kinds of anchors here. These kinds basically just give you something for a screw to grab onto. You can tap this into the hole. Another option would be similar to putting the toothpick. Is put in something like wire. Just bend it up, twist it up, jam it in there. And what that does is it allows the screw to push up against that wire, and it'll press up against the concrete and be really strong. If you have a hole, keep spinning whatever you're putting up, so it's not going to hold. Use something like this. And that's nice and strong. This works here. Bunch of wire. There you go. Just for demonstration purposes, if I had some kind of a bracket, shelf bracket or something, that'd be in there nice and tight now.